Why do we plan? Why do we even need this? Think of yourself. Think of your life. Think of your days and night. Do you really think that you are doing anything without a plan? No. Your mind makes a whole day plan the second you leave the bed. Your education, your office, your career, it's all about planning. So the point here is the whole reason for this planning process is to create a project management plan. This project management plan provides the leadership and the direction of the project execution and monitoring processes. Because once you have this plan in your hand, an approved, authorized plan in your hand, a plan which is being agreed between the stakeholders and your team, is a document which is now everybody will be using it if they want to execute anything, or if they have some confusion, or if you as a project manager wants to identify the performance. So this is a project. This document is called project management plan. Planning is an iterative process. I mean, at least for me, I mean, this is something which you will be finding a lot. I will try to explain you things from my personal experience. I have never started a project where I know everything from day one. Yes, I know where am I going. I know a little bit now, being in the professional life, doing project management 15, 16 years. I know a lot, but still every project is unique. We don't know how the project is going to behave. We don't know how the stakeholder is going to be. So we have, and every new day is a new day for us. We will be finding new information about the project. It may be the behavior of a person. It may be an organization processes that will impact us. It may be the scope change that is going to impact it. It may be the technology which is going to impact us. So the planning is an iterative process. It will again, it can be initiated because of a change control. It can be initiated because of the change request, corrective action requests, preventive action requests, or anything. This planning can be initiated. The main purpose of this phase is to plan time, cost, resources adequately, to estimate the work needed to effectively manage the risk, to make sure we execute properly and we have the risk management. So the purpose is to outline the strategy and the tactics to successfully complete the project, identify risks that are not visible up front. When you started the project, you may have some high level project risk in the project charter, but definitely not the detail level, definitely not what you could imagine when you will be talking to some subject matter experts. And the document, which is again called project management plan, how you are going to execute the whole project, how the processes are interlinked, how you are going to make sure that scope identification is done properly, how you are going to make sure that the communication is done properly, how you are going to make sure that the requirement analysis has been done properly. These all will be guided by project management plan. After this, now we will go into the task of the project. So we have to establish project deliverables, we have to develop project management plan and all the subsidiary plans. We have to identify the project team and their roles and responsibilities. We should actually spend a lot of time on this, defining project team, defined roles and responsibilities. Then we have to take in project management plan approval. Like a charter we need an approval on the charter, which authorize us to take the organization, to use the organization resources. This project management plan will authorize us and the whole team to start working and how to work, and then conduct a kickoff meeting. What is a kickoff meeting? Kickoff meeting is not something that you do in the beginning. Kickoff meeting is when you actually tell the resources that yes, now you all are part of our project and we are starting this. We all, it is very common. I mean, I'm sure I'm not saying something which is not common, or you will find me saying that it may be happening with me. The second you start a project, how many times your resources slip, how many times your priorities change because something happens, how many times the other factors like funding, like costing, like material impact. So all these things will impact your project. Be ready for it. But this is where your planning comes in. You have to have the ABCD plan for it. But ABCD plan, do you really need to go to that detail? It's a catch. I mean, if you go into a lot of detail, then you would be missing, you might miss the timeline. You might become, your decisions will become too much dependent on the information. And if you do a little planning, then you will have an insufficient information to make the valid decisions. So it's a educated guess that you and I will take whenever the project will start. So this is called a paralysis by analysis, that you are actually spending a lot of time in analysis, that you are actually slowing the project at the end. A paralysis by analysis. So it's a gut feeling. As PMI says, it is your neck online. You are responsible for it. You need to tailor the processes. You need to understand that how you are going to move forward. So this is again your decision. You need to make sure that how much analysis is important and how much analysis is required for this project. We ha- the purpose of this project, this phase, is to give the document to the execution phase. So you have to make sure that you do a successful planning. You have to make sure that you have an adequate planning so that your execution phase can be a success. Without a good planning, without an adequate information, without identifying all the pros and cons and the problem, your execution will face a lot of problems. So project planning phase is one of the biggest challenge which you will face as a project manager. As I already have told you, this is forecasting. You don't know what is going to happen. So it's a guess that you have to take about the resources, about the time, about the cost, which will change because change is inevitable. It's the only constant thing in our. So these things will change. You as a project manager will try to influence that these changes will not happen, or at least not to the level that you have to completely change the direction of the project. So your goals, your plannings, your roadmap should be smart and clear. It has to be specific where you are going. You need to have a measurable, because you cannot say good, bad, ugly, fine. You need to know the numbers 1%, 2%, 3%, so that when you go into an execution, you can actually compare them. So it has to be measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. I mean, you all have heard the joke about a project, what a developer can think about the delivery of a baby, what a project manager think about the delivery of the baby, what the implementation manager and what the stakeholder. So this is how you can make things unattainable. This is how you can demotivate your team, because they will say it is not possible. Then why should we are doing it? It is going to delay. So make sure, again, difficult challenge. It's a catch. Should we give one more day or should we give one less day? Because it may take more than a day, and your resource will say it is going to take more than a day. That's why. So he will never try to attain it. He will never try to make sure that your plan is successful. Then you have to have a clear goals. You need to know where you are going. You have to collaborate it. You have everybody, all the stakeholders should be on board. They should be emotional to it. You should be emotionally attached to it. The stakeholders should be emotionally attached to them. This is the job of yours, to make sure that everybody understand and they become your champions of your product. It can, you will never be succeeded, you will never get the right numbers, you will never able to motivate the team if they don't feel that this change is going to impact them in a nice way. So this is all what the project tasks are. And the next slide is processes. We have 24 processes in this planning process group. So I will not go into the details of all, but you could definitely see it is about planning scope, planning schedule, planning cost, planning quality, planning risk, planning human resources and resources, planning communication. So you are actually planning. Whenever you do a project management plan, that is for your team, that is for us, because it guides us that how we need to move forward. What is the way ahead? We will say, okay, it's a 2% variance allowed. So if we are getting into 1.5, what kind of a corrective or preventive action we should be taking? So when you are doing a cost management plan, it will tell you how you need to estimate it, how you are going to budget it, who is going to manage it, and what will be the monitoring framework. That is very important. You cannot do ad hoc management. You cannot say, Mudassir, we have given you this work and we have initially agreed 5 days, and then you come on a second day where you are sending. No, you cannot do that. We have to agree that the first work performance data collection point, when will it happen? So we will have periods. So because I might get sick, but I know that how I'm going to achieve it. So we will be doing sequencing of the activities, we will be doing defining the activities, we will be doing the duration, quality management, budget, and estimate activity resources. So we have 24 processes in it. And then the next one is the inputs and the deliverables. Most important deliverable here is the project management plan. In addition to this, you will be identifying all subsidiary plans. You will be identifying the scope, actions required to achieve the project objectives. You will be defining a product scope and a project scope, because the project will end up as a product and a service at the end. You will be estimating the resources. You will be estimating the cost and the budget. You will be identifying the work breakdown structure, project schedule. You will be doing a scope statement. Your baselines will be done here. The most important, to make sure that whatever you are planning, whatever you are eliciting, whatever you are analyzing, is it in line with the organization future plans? Is it in line with the organization strategic vision? And for this, you need two documents: project charter and other business document, which is business case and project benefit management. You have to keep an eye on that goalpost, on that vision, so that whenever you can control all your resources. So if they are trying to move ahead, or they are trying to move out, or they are trying to go wayward, you can control them. You can tell them that this is what we are going to deliver. So project management plan is overview, why the project is being conducted. Project management plan is scope. Project management plan is baseline. Project management plan is schedule. Activities you need to do. Activities duration you have to, how much duration you need. You need to know funding. You need to know your budgeting. You need to know what will be the reconciliation process. You will be identifying your project team, what will be the closure, how you are going to exit, how you are going to close the project, how the process, the deliverables will move from process to process, procurement, risk. This is all part of project management plan, which is the basic and the most important output of the planning process, which is controlled and managed and make sure that it remains on track by the project charter and the business documents. So this is here where we close our planning process. The planning process after the initiation is a future roadmap, that what you have agreed in the charter, what you have visioned in the charter, what you have thought of achieving in the charter, how you are going to do it is a project management plan. It's a planning process.